Hey street photographers and street enthusiasts, in this video I want to share with you 7 ways in how I improved in my street photography. And don't worry, this won't take too much of your time. I'm going to be explaining the details in under 7 minutes. Tip number 1, use one lens. Most commonly used lenses for street photography is 28, 35, 50. If you're new to the genre, try all 3 and see which one fits the best for you. For me personally, I like the 35 because it's wide enough and it's close to what the eye sees. You don't want to be using a zoom lens out for street photography because it's going to make you really stand out like a sore thumb, and probably going to tend to rely on the zoom instead of moving closer and being spontaneous with your shot. If you like being further back from your subjects, maybe a 50 is more of your taste. The 28 is a little bit wider if you want to get close to your subjects but get more in the scene, more in the frame. And 35 is that nice balance in between both of those lenses. Use a prime lens, keep it light, keep it simple, master it, know when to press that shutter button when the subjects are X amount of distance from your camera. And again, use one lens. Tip number 2, I learned this tip from Aaron Berger when I took his workshop out in LA. He said he always looks 20 or 30 feet down the line, down the street, to see and anticipate what's about to come his way within a 5-10 feet radius. That might not be enough time for you to anticipate, bring the camera up to your eye, press that shutter button, because you know everything on the streets happens so fast. By the time you notice the subject or realize what they're doing, you might be a fraction too late to make that picture happen. Especially if you're the type of street photographer that likes to walk and get your shots that way. So by looking down the field or down the street 20-30 feet, you can see who's coming. Maybe it's twins that's wearing the same outfit. Maybe it's a couple that's arguing walking your way, and you have several seconds or so to digest that imagery and anticipate and visualize what you can make out of it. How am I going to frame it? Am I going to walk in between them and press the shutter button, or am I going to let them come towards me and then press the shutter button? This is a great technique because you have time to digest. In street photography, you don't have a lot of time to digest. Whatever you see, you just make the photo right then and there. Tip number 3. This is one of my favorite tips. If I'm not feeling anything, if I'm not seeing anything, this is what I usually do. Work a corner. Find a corner where there's a lot of people walking by, a lot of foot traffic. A crosswalk, for example, is a good one. Maybe you hang out at a bus stop because you can expect people there. Again, a crosswalk is good, especially the 4-way traffic ones, because there's people moving in multiple directions. And usually at the crosswalk, there's some kind of convenience store, some kind of restaurant, something near or in around that area that people are going to. Maybe they're going home, they're rushing to the bus stop, they're trying to get dinner. When I'm walking around and I'm not seeing anything, I'm not feeling anything, I'll just go to the busiest corner in the area that I'm shooting in and just wait there. And by working a corner, you use less physical energy, you can get into the zone a little bit faster and just let people or animals or subjects come to you. Maybe you have one person waiting for the pedestrian light and then all of a sudden a bird flies by or a dog walks past or something to that extent builds out, and slowly and gradually things just start to populate your frame, and next thing you know, you have a pretty darn good image. So that's tip number 3 for me, work a corner. Tip number 4, practice, practice, practice.
Listen, we talking about practice.
Just like anything else in life, you're playing basketball, sports, whatever the case may be, trying to get your driver's license, the more reps you put in, the more you're gonna get better, the more you're gonna get comfortable out on the streets. All those jitters, all those indecisiveness in your head are gonna be eliminated out the door. There's a lot of learning curves in street photography, getting used to your shooting environment, getting used to your focal length, your camera, finally realizing what type of imagery that you want to produce. So a lot of it is trial and error, and a lot of it is experimentation. Maybe you want to do more layers. Maybe you want to do street portraits, or perhaps you want to do a lot of juxtaposition and humor. Regardless of what type of imagery that you want to produce for street photography, you're going to have to put in those reps. And that means getting your ass off the couch and going out, putting in that time. I think a lot of people, and I think this is true to some extent, with street photography, anybody can pick up a camera, their iPhone, whatever the case may be, and go out and get a lucky shot. I think we've seen and heard stories of it, and I think that's why a lot of people don't believe in putting the practice, putting in the reps. But if you look at a lot of the good street photographers, the contemporary street photographers, they are nearly shooting on a daily basis, which brings me to my next tip. Tip number 5, shoot at the same time every time you go out to do street photography. Now this is if you have the luxury to do so. Some people have schedules all over the place, so they just find a pocket, a window to go out and shoot. But if you can find that same time of day to go out and shoot street photography on a daily basis, I highly recommend it because your photos are going to look consistent. You're going to know what spots to avoid, what spots to go directly to, and it's going to save you a lot of time in the long run. So for example, I used to work a 9-to-5 job, and I would always shoot on my lunch break. I would either skip lunch or have a big breakfast, and every day from Monday through Friday, I shot at 12 p.m. for 1 hour. That was my pocket of window. Now if I remember correctly, I didn't get any good images. The hour window is not a lot of time, but I did feel good going out, snapping pictures, just getting away from work, and really just enjoying the process of going out with my camera, walking around, taking pictures. Got an image that I like, that was just a bonus. So whether it's during your lunch break, before work, after work, try to find a window within the day to do some street photography. Or maybe you just spend the whole weekend, 2 full days out doing street photography. Whatever it is, find the time to make it work, but shoot at the same time of the day so you can get consistency, consistent lighting, all that stuff within your imagery. Tip number 6, go out with an objective. If you're like me and you have photographer's block, quite often what I like to do is have an objective when I go out. So maybe I'll bring my flash, or maybe I'll make a mental note. I'm gonna look for something specific. I'm gonna look for a family that are wearing the same outfit. I'm only gonna photograph surfers, nothing else. I wanna shoot layers where there's foreground, middle ground, background. So going out with an objective sometimes helps me narrow my vision, because when you have photographer's block and everything's kind of wide open, for me at least, it's really a struggle to just see anything. So maybe give that a shot and see how that works for you. And last but not least, I'm not going to go into full detail on this tip. I'm just going to give it to you guys, and you guys can soak it in how you want to. And I know you must be saying, all the master photographers use this technique. People still use it today. But for me, I don't like to use this in post-processing because it makes you a lazy photographer. That's what I believe, okay? So here's tip number 7. Don't crop, but scale your image. I'm just going to leave it at that, all right? Well, there you have it, guys. 7 tips on how I improved my street photography. Do you guys already use some of these tips in your own street photography? Do you agree with them? Do you disagree with them? Let me know in the comment section down below. I'm curious to know what are some of your own tips. Please share with me because I need them too. So yeah, please share with me your tips on how you improve your street photography. And if you haven't already, please hit the subscribe button. And you know that bell right next to the subscribe button? Hit that, and every time I upload a new video or content, you'll be the first to be notified. Well, that's all, folks. Stay safe and keep shooting.